Hi, I'm Christina Heideck with PTO Answers, and today we are going to talk a little bit about bylaws as I answer a reader question. So she writes, I've always been under the guise that bylaws are not a document of convenience, but the hard and fast rule in any and all situation. Is this indeed the case? Yes, reader, actually that is the case. A lot of people who don't like the rules seem to just kind of ignore their bylaws, but that's not the way to be at all. The bylaws are actually legal governing documents, meaning you could go to court over them in order to get them enforced. I don't recommend that. The only time I recommend going to court over something in PTO is probably if somebody is embezzling from your group. Then you definitely need to make sure that they are prosecuted, and you definitely need to put procedures into place to avoid that ever happening again. But that being said, this last year has shown us that sometimes things pop up that we don't anticipate, and that doesn't mean that you can ignore the bylaws. You should try and conform to them as much as possible, but you should also look at it as an opportunity to amend your group's rules to make them more relevant to actually how you are running your group. For example, I know many groups did not have a provision to in their bylaws or standing rules that allowed them to either meet virtually or, more importantly, vote virtually. And this was a huge problem for those groups because when the pandemic shut everything down in March 2020, that was like the height of PTO election season. And so it really threw a lot of groups into a tailspin because they didn't know what they were going to do, and it caused a lot of problems. So for that instance, I think that is one case where it did not make sense to be meeting in person and that you could have a little leeway there. So I think it just comes down to common sense and really what the severity of the discrepancy between what needs to happen in real life, like what situation is causing the issue, and then what the language of your bylaws are. So you want to stick to the bylaws as much as possible, but they're not to be followed to in every single situation. For example, the pandemic. Think of how many things that you had to adjust because the pandemic made adherence to your bylaws just not possible. But like I said, try and follow them as much as possible. And instead of ignoring them, work to update them so that your bylaws and standing rules reflect how you are running your group. That is the whole point of them. They are not supposed to stop the actions or stop the normal work of your group. It's really to act as like a guidebook and really bring everybody on the same page about what is happening in the group so there's no misunderstandings and everybody feels like there's a level playing field that everyone's playing they're playing the same game and they're playing on the same field at the same time. Like that is the whole point of the bylaws. If you don't have bylaws, you could have people trying to play different games. Like one couple group members could be trying to play football over on the field on the left side, on the east side of town, and the other group members could be like, but we're playing soccer on the west side of town. Like that doesn't work. You need to be playing the same game on the same field at the same time. So I hope that analogy has really helped you to understand the importance of your bylaws and when you should stick with them, but also be realistic about sometimes you might have to vary from them. So I hope this has been super helpful, and I will be back again with another video to help you become a stronger leader so you can run a better PTO.